Here we are then, so it's the Google Keyboard Gboard mini-series part 2, and you'll notice that as I look down themes, I put a little emoji of a video projector, part 1, and a blue tick. Now you can see in preferences, Emoji Hide, sounds type, backspace, I've got a little clapperboard next to them. They're reminders for me, that's what I'm trying to cover, but I may go quickly, I may go slowly. So let's start with preferences. So to get to preferences, we go down, just to repeat again, to our settings, and then we go in to scroll down and look for the languages and input. You can see exactly what I'm doing over my shoulder, and we can do languages, oh that's wrong, to virtual keyboard to Gboard, and I'm using a multilingual. Now preferences, let's get started. So let's take a good look, and this is one of the wonderful things of when it worked for me, and that was that when you go up to the keyboard display that I've got set up on screen, it's very simple, and that is that it is what, about half the screen. It's quite big. It's got a custom image at the background which is the same as my lock screen, and it looks like that. If you pay attention just to the bottom left, I'm not going to touch it, but you can see it's got question mark 1 2 3 comma and the emoji. That was the one that I had a little bit of a problem with. Notice at the top line QWERTY, the numbers are 1 2 3 of course down to 9 0, but they're very tiny. And let's see how we can change that a little bit, because if we come up into the preferences, and that is the first thing, and this is why it's quite lovely and quite therapeutic to do this as well as learning. Number row, always show the number row in QWERTY or AZERTY layout. Now I've turned that on, and to check what has happened and check the change, all we need to do is just pop back into Google Keep, and you can see that there is a very clear, a very big 1 2 3 4 all the way up to 9 0 on the top line. For me personally, I'm going to leave that because I'm always using numbers, and I find it a tad troublesome, shall we say, without using, you know, flowery language, to say that I like it this way. I didn't know I could change it. Let's go back and work through them. And again, I particularly want to look at number 2, which is show emoji switch key. Now that is default, I shall say, is on. When the emoji switch key is enabled, the language switch key cannot be shown. And what don't understand that, but show emoji switch key, watch, if I go back, I've got the emoji switch key on the left of the spacebar. That was the one that was giving me personal problems. So let's go back and let's turn it off and see if that has affected a change. Straight away, look, the little emoji thing has gone. So if I was typing away, and I'm just going to test type down here, and you'll notice that when I hit enter twice I didn't hear anything. I'll come to that sound option in just a second. Now if I was just going to just type away spacebar, if I accidentally hit, I will get a comma. Okay, it's, I don't want it, but I can backspace it. It doesn't fill my screen with those big emojis or GIFs or whatever was the thing that I'd set up with. Okay, fair enough. Let's keep going. What are we, already 3 minutes 50 into this? So I think it's pretty obvious I'm going to have to make quite a few other parts to this. Voice input is top right with the microphone. That's fair enough. I always use that, and I need it there. If I turn it off, it will just disappear. Show emojis in the symbols keyboard. If I go in and I look at the way my keyboard is set up right now, I've got the G, and then I've got A, the, 2. In other words, it is there. Okay? Sorry, I mean the text is there. A, the, 2. If I change it and I say show emojis in there and I turn it on, then I come back, and this time let me just do that again, because I think this is one of those things where I'm learning as I go. Show recently used emojis in the suggestion strip of the symbols. Yep, I understand. So what I mean is if I go in and I'm there typing away and I go to symbols, I've now got a load of emojis along the top with the Google icon. You can see what, so in many ways you could say, well look, I've turned the emojis off, but if I go into the symbols, they are there. Let me just look at this, and I turn it off, then I go back, and this time what happens is that if I hit the bottom left symbols, the emojis are not along the top. I've actually still got the text suggestions. I think that this is about 5.5 minutes, and quite honestly time goes along, but I'm taking my time. Let's go back and say to ourselves, at this point in part 2 let's stop, and then I'll record a part 3, so it's bite-sized chunks. And the next one, remind me, is layout, is where I'm going to go, and you can see there's quite a few things. I'm going to take my time, have fun learning.